like any of the light big beers. And at the time, you have to remember, I'm talking about early 70s, mid 70s, even, Molson Golden was, or Lowenbrow.
Uh-huh. I don't know that name.
Right?
I do.
Right? Molson made a beer called Berdor. It was this dark lager. It was amazing, and that was one of my favorite beers. Another beer which you can still get today is Ballantine.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Ballantine,
Yep.
even to this day, it's fabulous beer. And Ballantine made another beer called 12 Horse Ale, which was absolutely fabulous. It was a hoppier beer, and I really love that. They no longer make it.
This brings us to our final round. We've got we have a few questions that we want to ask you. The final round is something we lovingly refer to as 3 Sheets to the Wind. The premise of this is it has nothing to do with beer. It's just something fun. And we've had a few drinks now, so why not be a little random? So, I am going to take this round. And my first question is, what was your favorite cartoon as a kid?
I've got to say the Bugs Bunny show.
Oh, yes.
And partly because it wasn't just Bugs Bunny, there were all these other pieces to it that were all produced probably by all the same people or whatever, but it wasn't just Bugs Bunny. And it was a variety show. There was a lot of entertainment there. It was a really high-quality show, and I was watching it when it started. I was born in 1960. And so I was watching those shows when they first came out in the early 60s, and definitely that's one I appreciate.
There's a lot of characters on that show. Do you have any that you are particularly fond of?
Oh, jeez.
Wile
Wile E. Coyote. Yeah, sure.
He's always...
very evasive.
He is. He's always trying to get that dang Roadrunner. All right, so here's another one. They call them earworms, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What song do you have stuck in your head right now?
Well, that's a funny one for me because I'm a musician.
Yep.
And I listen to music almost constantly. And I have a favorite artist. Mm-hmm. He's one of the most amazing artists of our time. When they study music in Berkeley or any of these music schools, they also study Frank Zappa. He is one of the most prolific artists of our time. While he was alive, he released 64 CDs or albums. Mm-hmm. Some of them were doubles, a lot of them were triples. I mean, it was an amazing... There were over 1,000 songs in this collection while he was alive. They've since released another 40 different compilations and things. Wow. So I have a lot of Frank Zappa going around in my head. But one particular song I just had recently, so it's kind of funny you asked, St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast.
I like pancakes. I don't know the song, but pancakes are delicious.
St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast.
That's great. I hope all our guests serenade us when we ask that question.
Oh, yeah, we should make that a requirement.
What is it? And sing it.
Yeah, can you sing?
Yeah.
I've sung twice today.
You have. Very
That's
proud.
amazing.
Nicely done.
So the final question we have, and you had mentioned that you are a chef?
I consider myself a chef, even though I don't get paid for it.
What's the best food you have eaten this week?
It's kind of coincidental. We had a friend over this evening that came over specifically to cook us dinner, and she's a really good cook, and very inspirational to me because she's a very healthy cook. I cook very healthy foods. I'm a flexitarian, so I eat mostly plant food and very little animal food, proteins. And so she came over tonight very specifically to make me a vegan dinner. Oh, and so it was buckwheat and millet meatballs with a vegan cheese sauce. And and absolutely amazing. You wouldn't, you would eat this thing and be like, oh, well, yeah, this is as good as anything.
It would definitely be a meat and cheese type thing, you would think.
You had meatballs with a cheese sauce, and it was all vegan, and it was an amazing meal. And I didn't cook it.
That makes it
So it was
better,
great because
right?
I cook every other night, every night. So, but anyway, that was that. That's the best thing I've had. And that's Susie Q. By the way, I told her I'd give her a little plug.
Absolutely. Do you
Chef
know her
Susie Q.
Twitter handle?
I don't. She
All
does have a website, Susie Q.
All right, we will definitely put that in the show notes when we figure out how to do those.
Right.
We will put them in there. Well, we want to say thank you very much, Michael, for coming on and helping us with this first episode.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I am
Thank
honored
you.
to be your first guest, and I'd love to come back. I have so much information to share with you guys about beer.
That would be great.
I'd love to have another beer with you.
Absolutely, that'd be
Yes.
wonderful. Until then, cheers.
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 Episode 3 / our very first interview ever is now in the bag. We have actually learned how to do show notes, and those can be found over at greatbeeradventure.com/003. We add some fun YouTube links in there in order to give you a cartoon break. In the show notes, you'll also find links to the books we discussed, plus links to the breweries. We are also releasing blog posts on Tuesdays from our website. And it was in this very interview that we decided on a 4-part series that will be coming up very soon. We have left you a little sneak peek into this series at the tail end of our show. Be sure to listen all the way to the end. The music in today's episode is brought to you by Old Etc. To learn more about them, head on over to greatbeeradventure.com/music. We have new things coming your way every Friday, and we can't wait to share them with you. Today's episode was edited, produced, and a lot by me, Amanda. Thanks for joining us. Go subscribe, and we will see you next time. Cheers! Want to know more? Be sure to find us on Twitter or Instagram at Great Beer Women. We can also be found at our website, greatbeeradventure.com. Make sure you head on over to iTunes or Stitcher and subscribe. That way you'll be the first to know when a new episode goes live. We would love it if you left a rating and review. There is great mystery on how new and noteworthy works, but it has been proven that 5-star ratings help. Great Beer Adventure is a production of Us to You Media. Could we
Right.
do a whole show on, 4 shows? Each one, do you think?
It's possible.
Yeah, we
I
should
mean,
totally.
certainly
Okay.
there's enough information and material to support
Absolutely.
that. I
That
mean,
sounds
those are very
wonderful.
key. All those ingredients are a whole subject on their own. Believe it. Beer's an art and a science.
Right.
And we rely on Mother Nature. So Mother Nature produces the lovely grains and the hops, and depending on where they're grown and the season. So it's like grapes. Hops are kind of like grapes in that there's terroir and there's seasonal aspects.